Keith Herrington here. I want to give you a quick overview of our trip to Michigan. When we got into Indiana, we had a lot of rain. At times it was really hard and we almost had to pull over a few times, in fact. We finally got a breather and a break in the weather and stopped and grabbed a sandwich and took a little break and then got on the road and headed on into Betsy River Campground. When we got to Betsy River Campground the following morning, we went ahead and had breakfast with my brother and some friends, and we got ready for our next morning bike ride to Lake Michigan. Took a lot of pictures and had a lot of laughs, and it was a great time. That afternoon, we decided to take a canoe trip over to Riverside Canoe Rental, and it was a 2-hour trip in the water, and the weather was fantastic, and we had a great ride, and that was a lot of fun. My brother and I got up on Thursday morning and decided to take our 10-mile bike ride. And what a chore that was. We went to some areas that were really rough on the legs, and luckily we had electric to get us back. Of course, we had our campfires every night. We sat around the campfire and laughed and had a good time and met a lot of new people. Sharon and I got to walk out on the pier out to the lighthouse, and we got some pictures, and that was wonderful too. We had a great time, and it was a nice time in Michigan before we left down. We got up the morning before we left and took our last bike ride there at Betsy River, and then decided to wrap everything up, put the bikes away, and get ready for the rest of our trip up in Michigan. So we got here, what, about an hour ago? I guess we got here an hour ago. And we're just trying to plan out the week. And we're all set up here. This campground is really nice. It's got full hookups. We got satellite TV, or cable TV, I should say. And I'm going to pull my bikes out here in a little bit. And I want you to see how my bikes are set up here. The bikes fold up right here and set in our living room. Sharon's covered her face, but our bikes sit right there, and it's a perfect place to haul them when we travel. So anyway, we're going to be pulling them out here in a little bit, and everything's looking good at this campsite. I hope everything's going to be good. Having full hookups is a plus for me because I hate having to dump all the time. So now we can use a shower inside the camper and be free to use the water without worried about filling tanks up, and much better deal. And the other campground was the Betsy Betsy River Campgrounds near Frankfort, Michigan. And I think we're gonna like it here. We'll be here for 5 days, and we're gonna go ahead and there's a bike trail here. We're gonna go check it out here in a little bit and see how it looks, and I think we're gonna like it. So anyway, we'll talk to y'all later, and have a good one. This is camp right here, and Mackinaw City at the KOA, and very nice park. We like it here pretty good so far, and we're gonna make the best of it and enjoy our time here. We've already been on one bike trail riding around, and we'll probably go out again maybe. And right now I'm out here with the dog trying to get her to do her business. This is a regular thing we have to do, is walk this little butthead everywhere. Here we are in line at the ferry to get over to Mackinaw Island, and the line's a mile long, so a lot longer than what I remember last time I was here. So it's going to be pretty crowded. subscribing to everybody. So. Anyway, hopefully we'll get on board here shortly and be able to get out of here.
Of all the wonderful activities there are to do on the island, that booklet sells for the bargain price of just $2. Should you like a copy, Sydney will be bringing it around here in just a few moments. Just raise your hand as Sydney comes down the aisle.
Well, we're on our way to Mackinaw Island. We weren't able to get on top, so we had to sit inside the cabin inside here. Kept us away from the water spray, but it was very hot and muggy. As you can see, we caught some sailboats racing around the one of the fingers that come out from the island, and they were almost laying over sideways when they finally got around to the back side, so they were cruising pretty good. Things are almost turned sideways. Okay, we're on Mackinaw Island. And trying to get our bearings here, where we're at.
What do we do first?
Well, being that we don't got our bikes, it's going to be a... I'm not renting bikes.
Okay.
We're going to walk it. We brought bikes and we're not. For those of you with electric bikes, bring your electric bikes to the island. Do not follow the signs that you see all over the place about, no, you can't bring your electric bike, it has to be this and has to be that, because there are electric bikes on this island that are up to class 3. So that's a big scam, just a way for the bike people, bike companies here on the island to make money. So bring your electric bikes. The average rate here to rent a bike is $11 an hour. That is ridiculous. But as we found out, without a bike, you're in bad shape, because there's a lot of walking and people everywhere. Smell the horses, that's for sure.
Cute.
Yeah, they've had a lot to this place. Wow. Yeah, about 30 plus years makes a big difference. Wow. Another tip, don't bring your dog. Leave your dog back at the house or the camper or whatever. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. They've had a lot of stuff here.
It's funny, we got a couple of days ago. It was just after 12 o'clock. I had lunch at Jim, walked right over here. And, you know, there's something going on.
Become a tourist place, look at haunted theater. I can't believe it got all this stuff. Another pigeon forge. Or a Gallenberg, you know? Yeah, become a Gatlinburg. If you see people looking down, they're looking at her dog. She has her sunglasses on, or what we call dongles, or doggles. Wow.
crazy.
Yep, another pigeon, another Gatlinburg.
I think it's worse.
Yeah, it is.
I want to go in here.
Okay. We're going to go in a shop here, take a look. Well, it's early morning. I hate to see what it's going to look like in about an hour. Excuse me. Yep, so far I'm not impressed. Another Gatlinburg, just a lot of shops. A lot of shops. Wish we could have brought our bikes, it would have been a lot better. Well, we've been here about an hour and it's not going well.
We're working on
Sharon noticed something, that all these flowers they have here and not a bee anywhere, so it's kind of weird, but yeah, there's no bees. In fact, I ain't seen any bugs to speak of. Of course, they probably think it's boring too, that's why they don't come. No, that's just me talking. A lot of people like it. It's just like a lot of other tourist stops for us. So we're not real impressed. You don't get out very much. I guess this is exciting. You definitely have to have a bike.
Where it says turtle and rabbit?
Walking down. Yeah, this definitely makes
I'm about done. I'm about done.
Yeah, this makes Gatlinburg look like
Deserted town.
a deserted town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is much worse than Gatlinburg ever thought of being. Oh my goodness. There's your tour.
34 for just a regular.
Traditional.
Yeah. 42.
Well, needless to say, we had to get off the pavement and stop the walking and start riding.
Where does it take you?
So we got a carriage ride, and it definitely gave us a break. So that's what we did. At $34 a head, it was a bargain. Be honest with you.
People either have to take a ferry or drive all the way around the lake to get from one point to the other. And on the right is the Grand South Golf Course. This is only the front 9 holes of the course, the back 9 are further inland, and it's the only golf course in the nation that requires a horse-drawn carriage ride to get from the front 9 to the back 9. You can see golf carts out there, but since those are motorized vehicles and motorized vehicles are not allowed on our roads, those golf carts have to stay right there on the course. front of the hotel. Those are one of 3 different sets of flowers that will be planted here this year. The first flowers were planted in the spring, and they were mostly tulips. And when those spring flowers started to fade, they pulled them all out of the ground, and they replaced them with the summer flowers that you can see now. When those flowers start to fade, they'll pull those out of the ground, and they'll replace them with their fall flowers. So there's always something beautiful blooming in front of the hotel while they're open. You can see between the front set of balconies and the back sets of balconies, there's a seam in the siding running from top to bottom. That is where one of the largest additions to the hotel was put on. Everything behind that seam is an addition. And if you look underneath of the balconies and underneath of the front porch itself, you'll notice that the ceilings are painted a light blue. That blue is a patented color, Grand Hotel blue. And it was tradition, especially in the South, to paint the ceilings of porches and balconies blue. There are a lot of theories as to why blue became the color of choice, but nobody's entirely sure why. People did notice, though, that spiders and wasps tended to be found less frequently underneath of blue-painted porches. At the time, people thought that the bugs were being tricked into thinking that it was the sky, and therefore not a safe place to hang out. But nowadays, we know that, like so many things in the 1800s, the paint they were using was toxic. They were mixing lye into the paint, which is a caustic chemical. And because the paint tended to fade very quickly, they had to add new coats of paint every few years. And it was that chemical that was keeping the bugs away, not the color itself. Of course, there isn't any lye in the paint now, so the Grand Hotel does have to put a lot of work into keeping those ceilings looking as pristine as they do. There were 2 movies that were filmed here at the hotel. This Time for Keeps in 1946 and Somewhere in Time in 1979. The movie filmed in 1979 does have cars in it. They brought cars here to the island specifically for the filming of that movie, and then, because the islanders didn't want the cars to stay here permanently, they were brought right back to the mainland at the conclusion of the filming. And that was the last time that they had non-emergency services vehicles out here off the road. See all of those bikes parked to the right of the hotel. That is the largest parking structure on the island, and the only 2-tiered parking structure. That is where guests and employees of the Grand Hotel park their bikes. It is recommended that you lock your bikes up on the island, not because people are going to steal them and take them back to the mainland, but because people have a tendency of borrowing bikes, especially later in the evening when maybe they've had a few drinks, and then it turns into a scavenger hunt to figure out where on the island your bike was left. So do lock those bikes up. Up here to the left, you can see this driveway. That used to lead up to the Grand Hotel stables, but a few years ago, they were doing some work on the stables, and they discovered that the foundations were crumbling. It was no longer safe to house the horses there, and they had to evacuate. When they did some more investigation, they found that the damage was so bad, they were going to have to completely tear down and rebuild. And since they were rebuilding anyway, they decided to move the stables to a place where they had some room to expand. And up on the hill to the right, we'll be able to see when we get past this tree here, is the new Grand Hotel stables. Since they did have room to expand, they're now not just a stables, but an antique carriage museum as well. You can see that big green barn with the red roof. That's the new Grand Hotel stables. They have examples of carriages that were used throughout Mackinaw Island's history, and it's free for you to go in there and check those out. You'll be able to do that between the first and second parts of your tour today. They have QR codes next to a lot of the carriages that you can scan with your phone and see videos of the carriages in motion. Those are all rolling stock carriages, which means they are fully functional. In theory, we could hook Vern and Judge up to any one of those carriages and take it out for a joyride, and it would work the same way that it did when it was first made. The horses themselves live in luxury there, as you would expect from the Grand Hotel. They have an air circulation system that continuously pumps fresh air into each individual stall, and they are some of the cleanest stables I've ever seen in my life. Not a bit of dust or dirt there. They barely even smell like a barn. While you're in there, do make sure you look up. You'll be able to see a few of the carriages suspended from the ceiling, and you'll also notice that the Grand Hotel has put chandeliers inside their stables. We are giving the horses several breaks on their way up this hill. This one of the steeper hills on the island, and just like us, the horses can get out of breath, and it is a pretty hot day today. So we are giving them plenty of time to rest as they come up here. This carriage does have brakes on it, so when the horses are standing still like this, they're not actually holding any weight up. I've got my feet on the brake, and they're able to stand completely freely. Good day. This is such a steep hill, it says that you can reach speeds of up to 50 miles an hour going down here on a bicycle. I would recommend that you try it though. For one thing, imagine the road rash you would have if you fell off. But for another, we have a speed limit here on the island of 25 miles an hour, and it is enforced. The police will sometimes set up a speed trap at the bottom of this hill, and they will clock your speed with a radar gun. If you're going faster than 25 miles an hour, you could get a reckless endangerment ticket of $100. Not the souvenir you want to bring back from the island, or at least a very pricey one. Now we do love our horses on the island. You won't see a skinny horse here. These guys get 24/7 access to hay while they're in their stalls and out in their corrals. They also get a breakfast, lunch, and dinner of oats, a gallon of oats per meal, and they get a protein supplement as well as a mineral and salt block. Because we do have so many horses and they do all get 24/7 access to hay, we go through a lot of it here. Just this summer alone, our horses will eat about 600 tons of hay. In the wintertime, when they're eating more to keep themselves warm, Karen and Judge both came from the Amish. And it's common practice among the Amish to cut the horse's tail short in a process called docking the tail to prevent them from getting caught up in any farm equipment. Other horses come to us from breeders around the country, and because those horses have never worked on a farm a day in their lives, they have their long natural tails. If they come to us with long tails, we leave them long, no farm equipment here. But if they come to us with those short tails, just like cutting a dog's tail short, it is permanent, so they'll have these short tails. They're not very efficient at switching flies away, so we do keep bottles of bug spray on the carriage to make sure the bugs don't bother them too much. We're headed up to Surrey Hill right now, where you'll get off of this carriage and onto one of those big green and white striped 3-horse carriages for the second part of your tour. So while you're up here, you can check out the Grand Hotel Stables and Antique Carriage Museum. You can also see the Wings of Mackinaw Butterfly Conservatory. They have over 70 species of butterflies. And the Surrey Hill building itself, the big white building at the top of the hill, has some of its own antique carriages. They also have restrooms and gift shops and refreshments. They make fresh donuts here every single day. We will get our photo taken up here at the corner, but don't get off the carriage right there, because then we will pull forward to the front of the building and you'll be able to get off on the right-hand side down some big metal steps that will roll up to the side of the carriage. Now when you're ready to continue on with the second part of your tour, you'll go straight through that building to the back, and those green and white striped 3-horse carriages will be waiting for you. The horses accept thanks in the form of apples, carrots, or cash, but since they don't have any pockets, I can hold on to any cash for them. Thank you so much for coming along on the tour with me today, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day.
Here at the Grand Hotel Mackinaw Island Carriage Tours. This is where they make the carriages, I guess. I'm going to go in and take a look. Victoria. well built. I know this video has been long, but I had to share the excitement with my viewers. Inside the stables real quick. See what we can see. There's all the, they're going to keep all the yokes and stuff. That's cool. It's neat. They use all Belgian horses. Head back over. We're getting ready to catch another ride. The second part of this this little wagon ride we're on. We'll be heading out in a little bit. Greenhouse up here, I guess it looks like. Go in here and get some pictures if I do. Oh, that's the butterfly. That's a butterfly house. I'm not going to pay to go in there. Yeah. A couple butterflies got out, it looks like. Yeah. Be heading out in a little bit.
Name of Mackinaw, which means great turtle. That's also how we get the two different spellings. So Mackinaw City is the W, that is the British interpretation. Mecca with the C, that is the French interpretation. But they're both always pronounced Mackinaw, never Mackinaw. And there to our right, that big mound on the ground, that is the Native American Clear Mountain that I was referring to. Also to our right, this is St. Anne's Catholic Cemetery. The St. Anne's Catholic Cemetery and St. Anne's Catholic Church. These are two of the longest standing things here on Mack Island. And this is not the original location of their cemetery. The original location is actually downtown. Between my building and Twilight Center. And that's where the cemetery was located. Not just for the reception for most of the cemeteries at this point. And somewhere along the way, they decided that it really wasn't a great idea. Rather, strictly by a cemetery. Moving on back here, they will take two different parts. Separately. They ran on the casket on a beautiful Sunday. Another day they went to go and move those caskets. It rained. So away went the chalk and any identifying markers of who was who. But they believe they put everyone where they need to be for the most part. Just keep in mind if you're out here talking to some headstones, that you might be talking to your Aunt Mary instead of your Uncle Jerry. The old stone grave here in the Catholic Cemetery that belongs to a little girl by the name of Mary Biddle. Mary Biddle is the lucky daughter of Edward Biddle. Biddle now just got out of town.
Looks so pretty. Alright, let's go. You go through your boss and you just want to take one picture
driver for that bird. So they never use that entrance because they do not want to end up with a headless herdsman. Oh, bad joke. Coming up to our left is going to be Skull Cave. I'm sure if you guys looked at a map of that guy, you're thinking that Skull Cave is going to be the highlight of your vacation. And let me be the first one to tell you that you made a great decision to get on the carriage ride instead of hiking or biking up here. Once upon a time, this was an actual cave, but in the 70s, the city of Mack Island decided that it was a bad idea to have an open cave for anyone to wander into, and they demolished it. And that's how you end up with Skull Cave today. Never at any point did Skull Cave look like a skull. Rather, Skull Cave, the name comes from a man by the name of Alexander Henry. Alexander Henry was a Britishman, and he was best friends and blood brothers with Chief Wadham. Chief Wadham, he was a Native American, and he knew that the Native Americans were sick and tired of the British, and that they were planning an attack against them. That attack was planned to take place in Mackinaw City at Fort Mackinaw, but because Chief wanted to move out that attack ahead of time, he would get his best friend out of there and come all the way here to Mackinaw Island. You put them in Skull Cave, and you tell them to stay put. Alexander Henry would do just that. He would stay the night there, and he would get the worst night's sleep of his life. He talked and he turned all night on sticks and stones, only to wake in the morning and realize that he'd actually been sleeping on skulls and bones all night.
Hard to this usually.
Hey guys, just a reminder that this is a narrated tour, so we have to keep our individual conversations to our minimum, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All the way down there to the right, that is Fort Mackinaw. Fort Mackinaw is only one of two Revolutionary era forts that are completely original, still standing today. The other one is in Florida. And when that fort was active, this is their active gun range. They'd stand above that hill there, shooting the destruction targets that they had placed in Hillier to the left. At the top side hill there to the left, that is the highest point here on the island. You might see a flagpole up there. That's where our second fort sits. That's Port Holmes up there to the left. Fort Mackinaw down there to the right. We want to talk about all these hills that you see here for a second. These hills there are not man-made. Rather, each of these hills is a former shoreline. So all of Mackinaw was covered in glaciers and water at some point until it receded to what we now know as Lake Huron. And as it receded, it receded at different rates and created different shorelines along the way. That's kind of how Mackinaw was shaped and formed. Because at the end of the day, Mackinaw is basically a giant limestone rock with a teeny tiny bit of dust on it. Basically, has about 3 to 6 feet of topsoil here on the island even to this day. But let's talk about those two forts here for a second. So Fort Mackinaw down there to the right, originally built by the British during the Revolutionary War. I assume we all know the outcome of the Revolutionary War, so I won't go into that one. But when the British lost, they would give over Fort Mackinaw to the Americans.
As we walked down to the ferry, I wanted to let everyone see the view that we're looking at right now on Mackinaw Island. When we got to the island, it was very difficult. Did not have our bikes because we were reading signs that told us we couldn't bring them, which was not correct. But we made the best of it, and it was a good day overall. Glad we took the trip.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that we have you to Mackinaw City, would everyone please remain seated until the crew and I can secure the William R. to the dock and remove any bicycles or luggage from the empty dock. Once we have that task accomplished, you're free to depart. However, please be sure to take your time and watch your step, especially at the stairwell and at the ramp while going ashore. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for choosing Sheplers as your Mackinac Island transportation. We hope your visit to the island has been an enjoyable one. Enjoy the remainder of your stay here in the Straits area. Have a safe trip home, a safe trip on to your next destination.